Imagine a world where, well, pretty much every decision runs on data, from tiny startups mapping out marketing, all the way to global giants managing these huge supply chains. It's all increasingly powered by immediate, clear insights. And, understanding how to use that data, it's becoming absolutely essential. So today, we're taking a deep dive into the truly astonishing growth of the global analytics and business intelligence platforms market. You might hear it called BI. Our guide for this is a really comprehensive report from Cognitive Market Research. And our mission here is to unpack not just the staggering numbers, but what's really driving this explosion. And maybe most importantly, what it all means for you and for how decisions get made basically everywhere. Let's just start by setting the stage because the sheer scale of growth we're seeing in this market, it's genuinely mind-boggling. This industry isn't just, growing steadily. It's showing exponential expansion, and honestly, there are just no signs of it slowing down.
No, it's really more than just growth numbers. It feels like a fundamental shift, doesn't it, in how organizations, really of all sizes, are starting to operate. I mean, think about this. The global market for these platforms, it was around, what, $13 billion in 2021?
Okay.
Just 4 years on, by 2025, it nearly doubled, over $25 billion.
Wow. Doubled in 4 years.
Yeah, but here's the real kicker. The projections show it just rocketing up to almost $99 billion by 2033.
99 billion. That's huge.
It is. And that works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CGR, of over 18% for more than a decade. That's sustained rapid growth.
So what's behind that? What's fueling this kind of fire?
Well, the report really highlights a few key forces. First, and maybe most obviously, is just the increasing need for data-driven decision-making. Businesses just can't afford to rely on gut feelings anymore.
Right. The stakes are too high.
Exactly. Then there's the prevalence of real-time dashboards. Think about a retailer instantly seeing what's selling where right this second.
Instead of waiting days or weeks for reports.
Precisely. They can adjust stock, change promotions on the fly. That immediacy changes everything. And finally, there's this growing demand for predictive analytics.
Okay, so moving beyond just looking back.
Right. It's moving from what happened to trying to forecast what will happen. Businesses are using this for everything. Anticipating customer churn, optimizing these incredibly complex supply chains, even spotting new market trends before anyone else. What's really fascinating to me is just how quickly this foundational tech is becoming so ubiquitous. It really suggests, connecting the dots that every organization, no matter the size or industry, sees robust data insights as, well, not a luxury anymore.
A competitive necessity.
Exactly.
That really is a powerful shift. So, okay, we have this massive global picture, but where is this incredible growth actually concentrated? Let's maybe zoom in a bit, unpack this region by region, see who's leading the charge, maybe where the biggest surges are. North America, I assume, is still a major player. Traditionally, the leader.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. North America is still out front. Their market grew from just under $5 billion in 2021 to over $9 billion by 2025. And the projection, over $34 billion by 2033. Still maintaining a really strong average annual growth, nearly 18% CAGR.
Okay.
And this leadership, it isn't just because they started early. It's fueled by, a really robust tech infrastructure, huge investments in R&D, and that early adoption across big sectors like finance, healthcare, retail.
Makes sense.
The U.S. nationally drives the biggest chunk of that, projected to hit over $27 billion itself by 2033.
Right.
But it's not just the U.S. Canada and Mexico are showing really powerful double-digit growth, too. Canada actually growing from about $500 million to projected over $4 billion in that same time frame.
Wow, that's significant growth in Canada, too.
It really is. It just underscores how deeply embedded data analytics has become in these economies.
Okay, so North America is the established leader, still growing strong. But you mentioned this is dynamic, so let's pivot. What about Europe? And then I'm really curious about Asia Pacific. Sounds like there are some incredible stories there.
Definitely. Let's look at Europe first. It's showing its own really consistent strength. The market there went from just under $3 billion in 2021, past $5 billion by 2025, and it's expected to cross $20 billion by 2033.
Okay, still very strong growth. Similar CAGR to North America?
Very similar, actually, around 17.7% annually. And what's interesting in Europe is how widespread the adoption is across quite diverse economies. Germany, for instance, is leading the region, set to grow to over $4 billion by 2033. You can see their industrial giants really embracing digital transformation. The UK follows pretty closely, expected near $3 billion. And then you've got countries like France, Italy, Spain, all showing really significant upticks, each one projected to be a multi-billion-dollar market by 2033.
So it's broad-based growth across the continent.
Very broad. Even, somewhat smaller economies like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, they're all showing strong double-digit KGRs.
Yeah.
It just shows how pervasive this tech is becoming right across Europe.
Okay, Europe's strong and steady. Now, you hinted at Asia Pacific being where the real explosion is happening. You called it the fastest growth engine.
Absolutely. If you want to talk about sheer acceleration, Asia Pacific is the place.
Yeah.
It boasts the highest growth rate globally. We're talking over 19% annual.
19%. Wow.
Yeah, the revenue numbers reflect that. It surged from just over $3 billion in 2021 to almost $7 billion by 2025. And the projection, an astounding $27.6 billion by 2033.
That's nearly caught up with the projection for the U.S. market alone.
Almost. And it's being propelled by, well, several things. Rapid digital transformation push from governments and companies, huge populations adopting new tech, these really dynamic startup scenes. China, of course, is a massive contributor, expected to reach over $8 billion by 2033.
Right.
But, the real rising star here, it's India. It actually has the fastest individual country growth rate globally. Over 20%.
80%.
Yeah, projected to hit over $4 billion by 2033 from under $500 million in 2021. It's this mix of government digitization efforts, a huge talent pool, and just intense competition driving companies to really embrace data.
That's incredible growth in India.
It really is. And beyond those two giants, you've got Japan, South Korea, Australia, Singapore. They're all forecasted to see exponential growth, too. Many nearing or crossing that billion-dollar mark by 2033. It's just, it's booming across the region.
Okay, so we've covered the established leaders like North America,
Yeah.
the strong growth in Europe, and this explosive acceleration in Asia Pacific. What about the other regions? South America, the Middle East, Africa, are they part of this story too? Are they catching up?
They absolutely are part of the story, each with its own kind of momentum. Take South America, for instance. You're seeing growing tech adoption across the board there. Its market size is projected to multiply almost 8 times between 2021 and 2033, reaching over $7 billion.
8 times?
Yeah, with Brazil really leading the charge, projected around $2.6 billion itself. It reflects this broader trend, enterprises across the continent realizing they need data for that competitive edge.
Okay. And the Middle East, we hear a lot about tech investment there.
Right. The Middle East is definitely emerging as a significant hub for analytics. That region's market is also on track to grow about 7-fold, hitting over $6 billion by 2033. Countries like the UAE, they're investing heavily in smart cities, digital infrastructure. They're becoming really key players in this data economy. Saudi Arabia and Turkey are also making pretty significant contributions to that growth.
So strong investment driving adoption there. And Africa.
Africa is showing steady upward trends as well. The market there is projected to grow from around $400 million in 2021 to over $3 billion by 2033.
Still significant growth from that starting point.
Definitely. South Africa is leading the way, projected near $1.5 billion. But Nigeria and the rest of Africa category also show these consistent upward trajectories. It's genuinely exciting to see these data-driven transformations taking hold in such diverse and rapidly developing economies worldwide.
It really is. When you step back and look at all these figures globally, regionally, it just hammers home how pervasive this market expansion is. It's not just a niche tech trend anymore, is it?
Not at all. It's, as you said earlier, a global paradigm shift.
So what's the common thread? What ultimately ties all these regional stories together and drives this whole global surge?
Well, it really boils down to a blend of things we've touched on. Continuous technological advancement, for one. Think about cloud platforms making this tech accessible. Then there's the deeper integration of AI capabilities into these BI platforms, making them smarter, more predictive.
Right, making the insights richer.
Exactly. And underpinning it all is that ever-increasing, almost insatiable demand for data-centric decision-making. Businesses are just realizing across the board that to innovate, to be agile, to stay competitive, they have to understand their data. And crucially, this isn't just happening in, say, the tech sector or only in developed nations. It's permeating all industries, all geographies. Data literacy, having access to powerful BI platforms. These are rapidly becoming universally critical skills, tools for anyone, really, hoping to make informed decisions in the world today.
It's just crystal clear then. The analytics and BI platforms market is in the middle of this global explosion, and it's fundamentally changing how decisions get made everywhere, from the C-suite right down to the shop floor.
The transformation is really profound, and it does raise an important question, maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. As this data-driven decision-making becomes the sort of the global standard, and these BI platforms become almost a universal language for business,
Hmm.
how might that impact the very nature of, say, human expertise or intuition?
That's interesting.
Yeah, and maybe what new skills become the most valuable in a world where data isn't just everywhere, but it's instantly actionable, where it's shaping almost every choice we make.
Those are definitely powerful questions to consider, something to really mull over. Keep thinking about your own role, your organization's role in this evolving data landscape. Thanks for diving deep with us today. CRM or ERP.
Yes, embedded analytics. That's incredibly powerful
Why is that?
because users get the insights right there in their normal workflow. No switching apps. It streamlines everything and gives you context right where you make the decision. Data becomes part of the job, not a separate task.
Interesting. And lastly, you mentioned data storytelling, making it engaging.
That's right. It's
Yeah,
not
great.
just about showing data, it's about communicating the insights effectively,
Yeah.
visually engaging dashboards, guided analysis.
Yeah.
It helps people understand the why.
So it drives adoption and makes people more data savvy overall.
Exactly. Better communication leads to better engagement and ultimately a more data literate workforce. Everyone starts speaking the same language based on the same facts.
So wrapping things up, it's clear the analytics and BI market is, well, it's really on a transformative path. Lots of innovation.
Definitely fueled by innovation, yeah, but facing real complexity too.
True, but underneath it all is this growing hunger for real actionable intelligence.
Couldn't have said it better. And maybe that leaves you with a final thought to consider. What could you uncover? What new insights might pop up if every single data question you had could be answered instantly, in plain language,
Mhm.
right inside the tools you already use every day?
Welcome to Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping right into something core to how businesses work now, analytics and business intelligence platforms, BI.
Yeah, exactly. It's way more than just charts and numbers.
Right. It's reshaping strategy. It's putting power into employees' hands, fundamentally changing how companies grow.
Absolutely. And our mission for you today is pretty straightforward. Cut through the hype, give you a really clear view of this market.
So we'll look at what's driving it, the hurdles.
What challenges pop up, yeah?
Yeah.
And importantly, where it's all heading. We want you to walk away feeling, really informed.
Okay, so let's kick off with the drivers. What's the main engine here? Seems like it's this big push towards data-driven decisions.
That's the big one, no question. It's moved beyond just like generating reports for management.
It's about getting insights out there, right? To everyone.
To everyone, real-time, personalized stuff,
Yeah.
dashboards, KPIs that actually mean something to the person looking at them, actionable insights right where people work.
And why does that matter so much?
Well, think about it. It lets leaders actually use data, not just gut feelings. They can optimize things, boost their ROI.
Which is critical now with data just pouring in.
Exactly. Data volumes are insane, and everyone needs real-time analysis. These platforms, they're basically essential now.
And alongside that, we're seeing this huge move to the cloud for BI, right?
Right.
Why the big rush?
The cloud. Well, it offers that scalability, grow as you need, plus cost efficiency, and just getting started is so much faster.
Faster deployment, yeah.
But it's more, too. Real-time collaboration becomes easier, updates are often automatic, integration works better, and yes, slashes infrastructure costs.
So it's not just for the big players anymore.
Not at all. This is huge for mid-sized businesses. They can get enterprise-level analytics without the massive upfront investment. Really levels the playing field.
Okay, this next bit is fascinating to me. AI and machine learning getting baked in.
Oh yeah, this is transformative.
Things like anomaly detection and natural language processing, basically just asking your data questions.
Exactly. NLP is huge. And predictive analytics, forecasting what's next, these aren't just add-ons anymore. They're becoming standard features.
How does that change things on the ground?
It's massive for, shall we say, the less technical users. Someone in sales could just ask, which product line looks strong next quarter in the West?
And get a real answer without needing a data scientist.
And get a reliable answer, fast. It speeds up decisions, makes them smarter, and crucially, helps businesses look ahead. It's moving from just reporting what happened to predicting what will happen. Proactive analytics.
Okay, but it's not all smooth sailing, is it? There've got to be challenges.
Oh, absolutely. For every step forward, there are definitely hurdles.
Like what are the big ones? Data quality, governance.
You hit it right there. That's often the Achilles heel. You can have the fanciest platform, but if your data is messy coming from different places, inconsistent, stuck in silos,
Garbage in, garbage out.
pretty much. Without strong governance, clear rules on how data is handled, you risk bad conclusions. And that kills trust, leads to poor decisions. It's fundamental.
And just getting these things set up, that sounds complex too.
It can be, yeah. Integrating with older systems, your ERP, your CRM, those core systems businesses rely on, that takes work.
Building the data pipelines, designing dashboards people can actually use.
Right. ETL processes, dashboard design, all requires real expertise. That can mean delays, higher costs, especially, again, for those mid-sized companies, maybe without a huge IT team.
And then there's the people side, getting users to actually use the new tools.
Change management. Always the tricky part. People get used to their spreadsheets,
Or like their old ways.
They do. And if the training isn't great or the new system feels clunky, people just won't use it. Then your ROI tanks and the whole digital transformation push kind of stalls out.
Okay, let's shift gears. Looking ahead, what's exciting? What trends are shaping the future? Augmented analytics seems big.
Yeah, augmented analytics and those natural language interfaces we touched on. Conversational analytics is the key term there.
So just talking to your data.
Essentially, yes. Asking questions in plain English, getting instant answers, it cuts down the reliance on specialists, empowers pretty much everyone on the team. True self-service BI.
We're also seeing BI features pop up inside other software, right? Like
Yeah.
in your CRM or ERP.
Yes. Embedded analytics. That's incredibly powerful
Why is that?
because users get the insights right there in their normal workflow. No switching apps. It streamlines everything and gives you context right where you make the decision. Data becomes part of the job, not a separate task.
Interesting. And lastly, you mentioned data storytelling, making it engaging.
That's right. It's
Yeah,
not
great.
just about showing data. It's about communicating the insights effectively,
Yeah.
visually engaging dashboards, guided analysis.
Yeah.
It helps people understand the why.
So it drives adoption and makes people more data savvy overall.
Exactly. Better communication leads to better engagement and ultimately a more data literate workforce. Everyone starts speaking the same language based on the same facts.
So wrapping things up, it's clear the analytics and BI market is, well, it's really on a transformative path. Lots of innovation.
Definitely fueled by innovation, yeah, but facing real complexity too.
True, but underneath it all is this growing hunger for real actionable intelligence.
Couldn't have said it better. And maybe that leaves you with a final thought to consider. What could you uncover? What new insights might pop up if every single data question you had could be answered instantly, in plain language,
Mhm.
right inside the tools you already use every day?